order. You guys can stand, please. Roll call in.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Here.
Commissioner Campos,
Here.
Commissioner Butcher,
Here.
and Mayor Trujillo.
Here. Commissioner Butcher will lead us in invocation and pledge.
Could all bow your heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we just want to thank you for the day. Thank you for allowing us to wake up and see it, Lord. Lord, just bless this city and all its staff. Bless our constituents, Lord, and bless their families. And Lord, just bless this meeting as we continue on, that we make all the right decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the sea symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion?
I have a motion, submit a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Had motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
For the agenda. Where it is.
We just did that one. Minutes.
Consideration of minutes, sorry.
Consideration. I think his computer's playing tricks on us today.
Okay.
Make a motion for the meeting for 22nd of April, which is, anything else?
The minutes?
No, consideration of minutes.
Consideration of minutes.
I'll second it.
Had a motion second for the consideration of the minutes of April 8th, 2019 and April 18th of 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we'll go on with the proclamation. Okay, this proclamation is for 2019, 04 Lovington Wildcat Cheerleaders Day. Whereas the Lovington Wildcat Cheerleaders have completed another successful year representing our community at athletic events. And whereas these coaches and athletes have a reputation of excellence throughout the state of New Mexico. And whereas the Lovington Wildcat Cheerleaders have earned the respect of their peers in the state for their good sportsmanship and skill. And whereas the Lovington Wildcat Cheerleaders have proven their ability to excel by winning the New Mexico Class 4A Co-Ed Spirit Championship title in 2019. Now therefore, I, David Trujillo, Mayor of Lovington, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim April 18, 2019 as Lovington Wildcat Cheerleader Day. Thank you, ladies. Yes, scoot back some more. Scoot in this way.
I'll go a little bit back, sorry.
Put that to the front.
Ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. And again. Now get the coaches out.
Maybe long out.
Can you
1, 2, 3.
I don't think I'm small.
1, 2, 3 over here. Good job.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations to y'all. Proud of y'all.
Hey, Coach, I'd like for them to introduce themselves individually for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
They can sit down and then
Or no, right here.
provide their names at the
Go
podium.
ahead, go ahead and introduce your names right here. That way you're in front of the camera because it's live stream right there. Right? Are we going live? Are we going live yet or no? Are we live?
It says we are, but I
It
don't see
says,
it.
are we not?
It's been on.
It's been on?
Okay.
Okay, we are. So if you guys wanted to state your first and last name and look right up there on top.
Wait.
It says it's
I'm Gabriela Leiva. I'm Lindsay Sanchez.
All right.
I'm Jay Valenzuela. I'm Aniston Marquez. I'm Mary Gonzalez. I'm Melina Ochoa. I'm Ricky Ariola. I'm Ana Sepulveda. I'm Maya Villegas. I'm Maya Garcia. I'm Karen Moon. Oh, I'm Ida Ibanez. I'm Linda Anderson. I'm Taylor Insolin. I'm Shirley Flores. I'm Marsha Beazer. I'm Shay Baker. I'm Delaney Carver. Ashley Hine.
All right. I've never heard of children being shy.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies, and congratulations.
I can back out.
Tell them, how about a demonstration?
Yeah, James did.
Did he get
I don't
them?
know if it was stomp out, but it's still. It's showing that it's.
I know those things.
That's awesome.
Was you a cheerleader? No. Was Kristen? Was you a cheerleader?
Yes,
All right.
It says it is, but it's not. I guess it's not uploaded.
yes, I was actually the cheer dancer.
Okay. Chief is in charge. You got any questions? I don't know if he really wants to be put on the spot or not.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the meeting this evening. We're gonna go to commissioners and staff reports. Wyatt.
Mayor and Commissioners, just to report, as you guys can see, Ramirez and Sons did complete the first part of what we hired them to do, which was in between on Avenue D.
Been trying to repair it. Have we got that repaired yet?
They, I'm not part of that, but actually I know that, George has talked about getting the fence fixed, and he was instructing her to take down the netting that was out there. I know we still are trying to get some quotes, I believe, to get the fence repaired,
Okay.
as far as those landing.
Because the pool's empty right now anyway.
Yeah, it's not being used right now,
Okay,
yes.
so,
But it is in preparation to getting everything started for the summer.
thank you.
Let's read that quick.
Yes, sir.
Wyatt, the wastewater treatment plant, chemicals, they were coming in for that, any idea what's going on there yet?
On the new chemicals for the compost,
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure. I can get with, Mike. I know they did get one sprayer in with a chemical for it, and he was going to, it did not work like the supplier said it was going to, and we were going to be trying to get another one from him for the compost smell.
So you said it didn't work the way it's supposed to?
It did not cover, the misting, I believe, did not cover what they said it was gonna take away the smell.
Okay. Just because I was at the park the other day and it was still pretty strong.
The aroma, like you said.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I will definitely get with Mike Dunn Cruz and
Okay,
I can get
thank
the
you.
report.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Wyatt. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, of course, we've given the budget prep special meeting for the budget presentation. It's my understanding that we'll continue that at our next meeting, going over the budget, getting any final decisions that your commission may have related to the proposals that are out there. And then upcoming, we're working with our GK Bond, who has been our financial advisors, basically, renewing a contract with them, make it a lower price. So we'll be bringing that to you at our next meeting as well. Other than that, I have nothing new to report.
Any questions by the commission? Crystal?
Nothing to report.
Anna?
Nothing to report.
Commissioner?
Well, hopefully, although we had a real good Easter, I hope you feel renewed and resurrected, because let's just move forward and really do things that we really need to get done the rest of this year.
Amen to that. Thank you, Commissioner Bernard.
No, I'm good to go.
Commissioner Crum.
Good, thank you.
Chief?
Nothing to report, sir.
Chief?
I just wanted to let everybody know that we're having issues with the streaming, but also that the second station, they should have poured the rest of the concrete on it for the pad, so we should start seeing walls going up pretty quick.
Okay. Chief, did you have anything for James? Are you good?
I'm good. He didn't say anything.
Okay. Patrick?
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Go ahead, Bob. Want to say? Yes, sir. State your first and last name, please.
Yeah, my name is Tim Boyston. I happen to live over on Avenue Q, the west side of the football field. And that's adjacent to the apartment complex that is been having problems all along. Avenue Q, you guys have, the city has opened up Pandora's box. Because Avenue Q over there dead ends into that field. And since you guys took away what barricade there was, rocks and everything else, not allowing traffic from the apartments complex over to my street. You guys took that away. You made the alley one of the best alleys in this whole city. It's all nice and paved, everything else. Now it is a thoroughfare. Everybody's using that now to cut through on my street. And I speak for my neighbors also over there. They couldn't come tonight and everything else. But we would like to see a permanent barricade on that street, since Avenue Q is, in my portion of it, is not going to go past that alley. When Robbie Roberts develops that rest of that, and he builds houses across the alley there, their backyards are going to go against that alley. So we would like to have a permanent barricade on that street, so there's no access from the street to the alley, because there's plenty of access to the alley over on Brian Erlecker Road. There's access. There's two more alleys. There's another alley on the north side that has access to it from 9th and P in there. So there's plenty of access, and we would like to see that permanently blockaded. Similar to what you guys have done, like that when 9th Street dead ends on the Brian Erlacher, you put that barricade across the street on the side there. So when you come up to it, you see it. And also there's also a sign on Avenue Q that says it's a dead end.
What we'll do is we'll research that. James is not here today, but David is taking notes, so he'll pass it on to James, and he'll get that info for us. And maybe on our next meeting, we'll have an answer for you.
Okay, yeah, because they're starting to do burnouts on Avenue Q because it's a long stretch. You know, because that's about a 2 block. Avenue Q is about 2 blocks long. And when they come off that in the apartments, and they start going down, they turn around, come back and do burnouts, and go back up there. We have a burnout now, it's about 30 feet long, and the guy almost lost control of it. You can see when it burned out, he almost lost it. And plus there's too many kids on that street, and in that whole section, there's probably about 75 kids between the condos and the new houses they built and everything else. There's a bunch of kids.
Well, we appreciate your concern, and we'll take note of it and address that for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
One more thing, Mr.
Go,
Mayor.
sir.
Jim, I'll visit with James about that myself as well. And I
Okay.
think Wyatt has some of that too.
And sir, no,
Okay.
I'm not a public works director, but we did, when we talked to the homeowners over there on Avenue Q, and we actually, Laura Brock, the code enforcement, we actually got in contact with the apartment complex, and in Cohen Junction, at the same time, right after we cleaned up the alley to help the subdivision because of all the rocks and everything that were left, the apartment complex, from what Laura, they are supposed to be building a pipe fence to actually separate their property line from the alley, so the access can only be the one way in, and they do know and do understand, but I can definitely get with Laura to follow up with her, and also follow up with James.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the apartments doing that, since the owners live out of the area,
Yes, sir.
that could take, well, they could take next year, year
So I'm doing
after.
a survey for that apartment complex, and I'm gonna be working on that this week, so they have to stake out those corners so they can start doing the fence, so it's in the process.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I mean, that's also, Avenue Q is also a backup for the PD when they have a problem over there. And this last week and a half, they've been over on my street, going to the apartments and backing up the people on that for the last week and a half. And it's a lot of traffic. I mean, you know.
Yes, sir.
I don't mind the PD cruising, doing their job over there, since some of them live over there, and state trooper lives in my neighborhood and everything else, which is a good thing. But it's springtime, traffic is flowing, and I'm assuming when traffic flows, drug flows.
Thank you so much for your concern.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll take note of it, get it taken care of.
All right, appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Public comment?
Evelyn Hoguin with the Lovington EDC. If you notice on your laptops, I left you an invitation for our 5th annual Cinco de Mayo that will be taking place on May the 4th at the Chaparral Park. Invite you and everyone in this room. This event, it's looking really well. Right now I have over 35 food vendors. It's the most I've ever had. We'll also have an asado and a jalapeno contest. We have the ballet folklorico where kindergarten through 5th grade will be dancing out there at 3 p.m. We also partnered up with Lee County on the Tipsy Taxi. So Tipsy Taxi will be out there giving rides to and from the event. We're also working with code enforcement and the animal shelter on possibly doing an adoption day that day. Since the attendance is really high, I think it would be a really good deal to have animals out there and maybe possibly adopt a few out. Lee County will have their ginormous obstacle course out there for the kids to play out there. We'll also have an auxiliary in town that will be doing bingo out there. It's the first time, and I believe he said in over 20 years that they've done that. That was done back in the 4th of July, long time ago. So they will have bingo out there with cash prizes. We have 4 bands. It's a little overwhelming because I don't know how to tell people no. And just on a daily basis, I'm turning away 4 to 5 vendors a day because I don't have any more room. And I definitely want to give my vendors that I do have the best chance of making as much money possible. But this event has exploded and everyone is aware of it. But I just wanted to invite you to this event, like I mentioned, May the 4th, from noon to midnight at the Chaparral Park.
questions about that?
Any
The
questions?
jalapeno contest, I'd like to sign up David Trujillo. Just put him down if you would.
I will. The asado contest, I've really never really advertised for it. It's just something that I've just put on the posters, but this year I've actually advertised for it. And on a daily basis, I get 2 to 3 calls, so I have a feeling that the asado contest is gonna do very well, so.
Thank you for your work
Yeah.
on this.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
every
you.
year. you do a
Attendance
lot of
last
work.
year was what, 4,000?
It was over 5.
Over 5,000,
Yeah.
so.
We learned some, I mean, the police department, the fire department, even myself, I mean, I knew it was gonna be a good event, but I didn't expect for it to be that good. And so we have prepared for it this year. We're actually including some lighting towers out there, because it is dark out there. So we will have a little bit more light out there. We're gonna have some traffic control. So we're working through the hurdles that were presented last year. And then when the event was over, it looked like the landfill had exploded out there. So we are gonna work on the trash problem, but other than that, it's looking really good right now.
Thank you.
One thing real quick, bathrooms, how are we doing on bathrooms? Are they functioning? Are they?
We
running
are,
well?
we'll actually have the bathrooms that we have out there, but the county is also letting me borrow their latrines. So we will have an additional set of latrines for the public.
Okay, very good. And if you would pass the appreciation on to your board as well.
I will,
know they've
thank you.
worked hard on this also.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's just a side note today.
Okay.
Talon Williams, resident here. On a side note, last year during this event, we had a lot of the disc golf baskets damaged and broken. So if police, whoever's out there, can acknowledge and try and keep people off of it, because those are not cheap, and takes a lot of work from us local guys to put everything back up and keep it in good standing order. So if at all possible, I would appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just to answer his question, in our meetings that we have, the Parks and Rec directors are gonna take the baskets down.
Okay, good. That's my question.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
I'm Rosie Insulin with Lee County Electric. I just wanted to remind everyone that we are having our 70th annual Lee County Electric meeting for the members, and be sure to be there. We're going to be doing pre-registration at all our offices from 8 to 4, and then at the at the Pinnell Auditorium from 5 to 6. And we're going to have for entertainment an a cappella group from LCU, which is Lubbock Christian University. So you guys are all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a really old guy retiring too, don't you? You have a really old guy retiring.
70,
Okay, any other public comment? Moving on to non-action items. Chief?
Yes, sir. Lee County DWR program has a recognition award that they would like to present to one of the officers of the Lovington Police Department.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. For those of you I have not had the pleasure to meet, I'm Kelly Livingston. I'm the Director for Lee County Probation, which runs the Lee County DWI program. And we wanted to come here tonight, along with Miss Natalie Perez. She's our DWI preventionist. We wanted to come here tonight and show our appreciation for Lovington Police Department. The DWI program and Lovington PD has always enjoyed a positive relationship. We've partnered for several years on combating DWI in Lovington and Lee County. So we are here to give a recognition award to Officer Juarez for having the most DWI arrests in last calendar year for Lovington Police Department. And just to let you guys know what it says, it says appreciation presented to Officer Cesar Juarez, Lovington Police Department, in recognition of your DWI arrests in 2018 and in appreciation of your dedication in reducing DWI occurrences in Lee County.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Next item, Chief.
It's the public comment for ordinance 569.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up the floor to public comment on ordinance number 569, an ordinance that creates Title 17 zoning, Chapter 17.34, E Economic District of the Lovington Municipal Code. Ask that you keep your comments down to 3 minutes. The floor is open.
Again, Talon Williams. I happen to be one of the fortunate ones that actually live in this area. That's being changed. I haven't seen the new draft or any actual notes being taken on what amendments and changes are being proposed, but I talked with Crystal a little bit earlier and Wyatt himself. I just want to make sure that as a resident that lives in this zone, if I go to sell my home, that it's going to stay, it is able to be sold as residential as well, even though it is zoned commercial residential presently. Mainly just wanted to get that on record that it is moving forward will be able to be sold as a residential home, because if it goes to commercial only, it narrows my market insanely.
And you live right there where the Strohs used to live, right?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
I
And
don't-
we did address that, and we did add the literature in there to cover that. Your home will be, as long as it stays residential and it's sold into residential. But if you ever sold it to commercial, somebody that wants to put a doctor's or some vet, whatever it may be, then it can never go back to resident. But if it continues to be resident, you sell it to resident, a resident sells to another resident, it continues to be resident. But the day it sells to commercial, it stays commercial.
So, okay, grandfather's in as residential as long as it stays as such?
Yes.
Okay, that's basically what I wanted to make sure was happening, because I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, but just in case.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping Main Street nice, too.
Is that for Tom?
Yes,
Tom
sir.
Stroh there?
Yes, sir.
That was an officer doctor way back then. On the hard race, I believe. Or something.
And a good store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the street.
Anybody else like to make a comment?
I just one more time want to iterate that I know that the city and everybody involved in it has worked so hard on getting this ordinance through, and we're really proud that you are. I mean, I know there are some people that are against it, but there's a lot that are behind it that realize that the city needs this to move forward. And it's not just about gross receipts tax, but it's about our quality of life and be able to drive down the street and Main Street and Avenue D and see in a nice, clean place. And like I said, I just want to thank y'all and for going through with this, and for everybody who's done a lot of work on it. I know Crystal, and they have worked so hard on it, and James and everybody else, and Main Street, and I just wanted to thank you for it. Hope you go through with it.
Thank y'all for what y'all are doing with your businesses there.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Anybody else?
I want to make a comment
Yes, sir.
on that. And that's great that, we can get Lovington looking nice and clean and beautiful. I went to Artesia yesterday, and you go to, you see it, and they've done great. And we could do the same thing, and maybe even better. So, but it takes everyone has to make the effort to do it. So, hopefully we can work towards that goal to make Lovington a beautiful city that people want to come and live here, because it's a great place.
I know that a lot of people are seeing this, that it's another law or whatever, but, we have to have laws and we have to have ordinances in order to succeed as a society. And it's not just about the money, it's just about our quality of life.
Sure.
And we just appreciate what it's gonna help us do.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to action items. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2019-042, adoption of required community development block grant, annual certifications and commitments.
I'll second that.
A motion second. Chief?
Yes, sir. Resolution 2019-42 will ensure that the city's participation in the following certifications and commitments are required for the participation of the CDBG program. Citizen participation, encouraging the public's input and use various means to reach the public in order to provide reasonable notice and a timely access to local meetings. Also to the fair housing certifies the city commitment to the Fair Housing Act of 1968, and also the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance to be in compliance with federal law that ensures fair and equitable treatment for persons displaced as a result of the CDBG funding project or activity. Section 3 is a commitment of the HUD Act of 1968 that requires recipients of certain HUD financial assistance to provide jobs, training, and contracting opportunities for low and very low income residents in connection with projects and activities in their communities. And also to, as far as the procurement, certifies the compliance with New Mexico and federal procurement code. This resolution and its commitments are adopted annually.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions by the board?
I've got one. Chief? Yes. Do you know how much has been appropriated for that program? For the repairs for different projects?
I do not. He didn't leave the breakdown on what projects or how much they've been dispersed on it.
Why, you got a figure, Why?
I believe 3 years ago, working with the CDBG, we received right over 497,000 on a project that we put in for road projects. I believe there is, that year alone, there was multiple million that were dispersed through the application process. So there are different ones that for the low income, they have to be in certain areas that I know back in 2008, the city did go through another CDBG grant that we upgraded some water lines over off of Jefferson from Avenue 8th Street all the way to 11th Street. There was 4 blocks that we did that we got a grant through CDBG. So there are multiple avenues that you can take and grant applications that you can do with the CDBG program.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Chief. When I was over at the HUD housing, Section 3 concerns training and contracting opportunities for low and very low income residents. I never heard of anything like that taking place, but obviously it's a part of this grant. Have we ever dispensed that at all that you guys know of? Or would James have to refer?
James would
reference
have to
that?
answer that question if you're not found out.
Because I think that's something valuable for some of our residents to receive that training. Yes.
Well, if I may, through your mayor, to answer the question, from other cities I've worked at, one city in particular, we managed to receive about 5 years in a row regular funding through the CD program specific to the low-income housing. And there are certain requirements that your community has to meet, and essentially the concept of a blighted area or an area that really needs development. And the last city I was at, there were 2 specific apartment complexes that CDBG helped us fund us, and then also gave pass-through loans to the contractor that allowed them to build some really nice housing, similar to what's off of Polk Street, even nicer than that, to provide housing for low-income families. It was also energy efficient, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a long application process, and it's a specific type of grant. CDBG has several different grants, as Mark mentioned, and so we have to really target that type of thing and identify an area that qualifies.
That type of housing is really needed in this area. There's about a year-long wait on that waiting list to get a house, sometimes longer. So there's a great need. There's some homeless people in Lovington, believe it or not. So, and those that doesn't mean they live in the streets. It means they've been displaced of their own homes and they're living with somebody else. That qualifies them as homeless. So we definitely need to be on that. So I'll visit with you this morning. I'll get it in James. Okay. Thank you.
We did have that program here, when Bob was here, and they allowed up to $10,000 to repair homes, put windows, and storm doors, whatever. And then later on, they went to $25,000, which they did a lot of good work with the CDBG program. So that was a good.
Yeah, let's look at that. I'm interested in that.
Thank you. Had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a Motion resolution 2019-043, transfer of surplus equipment to the village of Tatum.
Second?
Motion second, Wyatt.
Mayor and Commissioners, the transfer of this, it's actually a sewer jetter. It's our trailer mounted sewer jetter. And City of Lovington just purchased a brand new skid mounted one that's on the backside of a F-350 or F-550 truck. So it's replacement of this one. The Village of Tatum we've taken this one over to the Village of Tatum multiple times to help them with some backups that their equipment has not been able to get. And Mike Dela Cruz, wastewater superintendent, contacted me and asked me if we could possibly transfer this equipment to help out the Village of Tatum. This would just be taking it off our fixed assets and letting us donate it to them, transferring the equipment to them.
And your recommendation is to approve what?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good, thanks.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, resolutions 2019-044, temporary street closure, block party permit, smoking on the plaza, June 14, 15, 2019, live on Love Street, summer festival for July 20th and 2019.
Second?
And motion second.
Mayor and Commissioners, once again, we're asking to close off Main Street and Avenue A. We will not be closing the auxiliary roads, Love or First Street. We have received permission from the downtown building owners. The smoking on the plaza will affect them on a Friday. As you know, smoking on the plaza is Friday and Saturday. We will be closing the street at Thursday at 6 p.m. and reopening Sunday at noon. That'll give us enough time to go do a final sweep of cleaning and make sure all cookers and everybody is off-site completely so that we don't run into any issues like we did last year. And then we're going to be doing the exact same street closure for the Live on Love July concert, which will be July 20th. And for that one, we will only close Saturday and Sunday, so it won't affect our businesses.
Any questions by the board?
So how is that looking? You've got, like, I know vendors there, you've got quite a few entries already?
Yes, sir. I already have 8 contestants that have signed up. I have all of my usual vendors, so I have about 12 that have already committed and pre-registered. We have already booked our act. It's going to be Wade Bowen. He's a Texas country artist, relatively well known in the area. And we have also the obstacle course from the county. We're going to have the dunk booth out there. We have a couple of vendors that have like activities for kids. So we're really excited, and we're going to have the trees back out there, which were a huge success last year. So
That's awesome.
we're excited.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for resolution 219-045, approval of J.F. Maddox Foundation grant agreement for the 219 Cinco de Mayo celebration.
Second.
And motion second by Commissioner Campos.
Evelyn Hogan, Lovington EDC. James has asked me to speak on behalf of this grant. This is our second annual that we received this grant. The difference between last year and this year is that last year it was a matching grant. It was a $5,000 matching grant. This year it's an actual straight across the board $10,000, and that's going towards entertainment. The only stipulation that they required on the contract is that we had to have a minimum of 4 acting bands, and we have 4. So we have met all the requirements, and that the city would be our fiscal agent. But it's just a grant that we apply for every year, and that we were awarded again this year.
Thank you for your work.
I did have a question on that. I know we're having it at the park for that Cinco de Mayo. Have we ever, we hadn't been getting any complaints from the public, noise ordinance, or people whining about, it's too loud, it's too late? Because usually that comes in at the last minute, and
No, probably the perks of it being out on the outskirts of town is that there's not very much housing. Actually, there's a pro to it. The surrounding owners that are there actually make money off of this event because they charge people to park on their property. So it's a pro. I mean, they're making money.
So they're happy.
Exactly. We had no issues, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the board? Had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, resolutions 2019-46, approval of final Dobzowski subdivision plot, or plat?
Had a motion?
Yeah,
Second. Had a second by Commissioner Campos. Robert?
Commissioners, Mayor, my name is Robert Fierro. I'm a surveyor and engineer. We began this project in 2015, and it's to create 6 new lots on Avenue K. The infrastructure's been built, the roadway, utilities, it's all been built per plan. If you guys are, I'm not sure if you guys seen the road that's been constructed off of 13th, and it's a cul-de-sac, comes back around. There's also one on J, that was part of the J.L. Reed edition. But I'm here for the Domzowski, which is going ahead and platting those 6 lots as it's shown on the plat that we submitted. They're half-acre lots. They're big, nice lots. And the developers here, Joanne and Jerry.
Oh, not just to make sure that our name is not spelled right on here.
Right, I noticed that.
Robert assured me that there wouldn't be a problem, but I just wanted to make sure.
It's correct on the plat though, ma'am.
Huh?
I just pulled up the plat subdivision and it's correct on that.
Right.
The
No,
legality.
Robert knows how to write it.
At first I didn't, it took me a while.
Joey, can you name one of those streets Sanchez Street?
I have no problem at all.
Good one.
Okay.
We'll come before you, we'll change the name to Sanchez. Robert will do it.
Robert, do you envision any problems or anything with the plat?
No, just this new ordinance I really found out about today is the streets along 17th Street, Avenue D, Main. This is residential property, but it's not going to be having access from 17th Street.
Do you see any infrastructure issues with
No,
plumbing? Or
we were able to loop the water lines, so there's going to be pressure. The storm drain, there's no issue. They'll have to bring in some dirt to raise the lots, the pads a little, but that's about the only issue that I see. Nothing as far as the public infrastructure.
Chief, you found with the fire, on the fire side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions? Yes, sir.
Have y'all got lighting there already?
I'm not sure. We have to
No,
get
I think, when I talked to Crystal, she went here,
Crystal.
I'm right here.
Do you want to address that, Crystal?
No.
we talked about the lights, but that's after we get approval.
Yeah, we have to go through the final plat and then address the lighting situation.
And then we'll have some put also on J, we'll need to have, since J's been extended, and we'll need some at the end of J, but I think you had all that taken care of already, didn't you?
I know the only thing that we liked was concrete around the manholes in the alleyways. They weren't, the concrete pads need to be bigger around those manholes.
Okay, so that's something we could easily take care of, just calling Ramirez and Son, having them put the collars along, around the manholes and water belts.
Yeah, like a 4x4, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Chief? Like which one? The fire hydrant, so we're gonna have to install a fire hydrant in the residential since it's extended to?
There was actually in his plat and in the design, there was fire hydrants that were extended and on the water lines and everything. So
Very good.
they do have.
All right. Good.
Any other questions about the board? Had a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2019-47, approval of budget adjustments fiscal year 19, budget adjustment resolution number 5.
Second.
A motion second. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, this is the time of year, every quarter, I have to give a report to the Department of Finance. And in that process, we also have to ensure that no funds that we're budgeting ever have a negative cash balance. So part of this adjustment, it's twofold. One, it's taking some money from the general fund and transferring it to other funds that generally need the money, which I hadn't done yet this year. And then the other thing is there's several pages here of that line item detail that I'd mentioned to you before, where the Department of Finance doesn't like us to overspend in one account line. We have to increase that to show that we have an approved budget to spend the money there. But if you have any specific questions, I'm available for answers. Well, on the report, I guess I should clarify this. We have two different groupings of account codes. That's another thing that we're dealing with. The Department of Finance has created their own quote-unquote chart of accounts, and anything that we report to them, we have to report to them using their account codes. So that's why we'll have one column, which is column, let me see, it says in-code accounts at the top of the column. The fourth one from the left, those are our current accounts, and then the larger numbers, the third column to the left that says LGBMS accounts, those are the accounts that they require us to report these with.
What's it stand for, Gary?
Forgive me?
What does it stand for?
Oh, local government, I can't remember what the B stands for. Management system. Oh, local government budget management system.
Okay,
yeah.
very good. Thank you, Gary.
So yes, I'm trying to speak their language.
Yeah.
Haven't learned it yet.
Any questions by the board? Had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to consider a motion for resolution 219-048, approval of third quarter BFA LGBMS report.
Second.
Had a motion second, Gary?
Again, your mayor and commission, this is the actual report we're submitting. Essentially, all it's saying is these are all the revenues and these are all the expenses we've made as of March 31st of this year. However, every one of these accounts that you'll see there have their specific names, their specific funds and departments. So they don't match up one for one with our accounts. It's a combination of our accounts that make up a lot of these numbers. But this is just really just to show the local government division that we are staying within our authorized budget and spending what we're allowed to spend. And the monies that we were expecting are coming in.
Any questions? Quick question. Yes, sir.
How's our GFT looking, Gary?
Yes. And the other GFT, that is related to our gross receipt tax, but that's a situation in this particular case where it's like an increment type of thing, and I don't specifically know what part that is. I've never mastered all the different divisions they make. So that's one of the legislative moves I hope that they pass, is to combine them all and say, here's your gross receipts.
He was referring to our GRT. What is our current GRT? How's it looking?
Oh,
yeah,
that's been doing well. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we are projecting to come in, I would say, right around $300,000 more than what we budgeted, which is very promising.
Any other questions about the board? We had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to consider the accounts payable.
Second.
Had a motion second, Gary?
Okay, I'm listening better this time. What we have here, just a couple of pages of our payables on the list, and I'll just go through all the items that are $5,000 or more, and then if you have any questions, I'll answer them for you. So right away on the first page, the first item is the Audie's copy repair service for $5,881. That was to purchase some chairs and a tabletop for the police department. And then below that, we have the $7,443. It says Design Plus LLC. That is magistrate court feasibility study that we're paying for. And then the next item that's $5,000 or more is the $5,205 to Clean Tech Services, which they, clean the motor vehicle department, City Hall, the Troy Harris Building, and all that. So that's what that's paying for, is a monthly fee for that service. And then, of course, below that, the $34,740 is for Lee County Electric, standard monthly electric bill with Lee County Electric. And then below that, you'll see the Lee County State Bank for $187,472. That is a semi-annual debt service payment for our hold harmless bonds that we borrowed, the $3.5 million that we borrowed in 2018 or 17, I don't remember what year now. Now, one of the things that's missing on this report, and I want to make a mention of it because it's the same kind of number, always in the months of November and May 1st, we have debt service payments that are due. So we also paid a payment on our water loan for the drinking water loan that we've gotten. And the amount of that payment was, just a second, it was real close to the same amount. I just didn't write it right there. And I don't know why it didn't show up on the main report, but that payment was $173,630. So those are the two out of our direct pocket payments that we're making for debt service that we have to write checks for at this time. In November, we'll be paying for 3 loans directly out of our pocket. The other one is the environmental development loan that we received for the wastewater treatment plant, along with another payment for the hold harmless and another payment for this drinking water loan. Although with those 2 loans, it'll be interest only in November. This period of time, we're paying interest and principal. The other loans that we have are coming directly from our gross receipt tax through intercept payments, and we have made those payments, or will be making those as of May 1st for the ladder truck that we just purchased, and then for the loan, the $3.9 million for the fire station. So just keeping you appraised on that. And I'm almost finished with the list here. I'll get through this. The next item is the Lovington Main Street, the $13,850 standard quarterly payment to Lovington Main Street. And then on the second page, the only other item that's over $5,000 is the $27,000 that we paid to Pettigrew and Associates. $18,592 of that is paying for a survey for the cemetery off of Gum Street. And then $8,892 is related to the water well project. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Gary, thanks for telling us about that payment. The substantial payment you said has already been made, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate your telling us that, but now I'm concerned about to our attention. Why is it not on this vendor report?
The one that is not on this vendor report was because when the clerk did the payables list to give it to James to put on here, apparently it wasn't on her list that she sent to James. That's the only reason it's not on this report. As for the detail of it, I have another list that's all the detail stuff that it is part of that report. Okay. And I just didn't make copies of this to give you, but I can if you want more detail.
No, make sure that it was in the ledger like it's supposed to be.
Yes. The only thing that we're not recording yet as loan payments like coming out of our checking account, we're recording the debt payments I mentioned to you related to the fire station and the ladder truck, but they're recorded in a different way because we don't write checks for those. It's already been intercepted and already been paid.
So it is in our accounting system, it's just not on this vendor publication report, is that
Exactly.
Okay.
It's because this is an accounts payable list, checks that are written. The other one's related to the fact that we have to make the payment, they're taking the money.
Okay, thank you for that.
That's the nice way
I
of
had
putting
one
it.
too, Gary. It's
Yes,
a
sir.
small amount for that RAM software service. Does this also have something to do with that, for that accounting service that software? Are we still upgrading or?
No, sir, if I could, that's our billing software for the fire department, is the RAM software.
Okay, so it's not actually tied in with that.
No,
No,
it's
sir.
not.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Any other questions on this?
All right. Got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Do I have a remainder motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.